Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video we are going to be doing round 3 of my Eyeshadows of Shame series. For a quick rundown, Eyeshadows of Shame is nothing to be ashamed about. It's kind of a way of taking a playful dig at ourselves, and maybe some of us have larger than average collections that we don't always get through and get to everything, and or want to go back and revisit some of our old forgotten about eyeshadow palettes. And it's just kind of a way for us to get a little more creative with our collections and to use things in a new way. So I'm going to go ahead and link the project introduction up there for you if you'd like to go back and watch. But as a quick recap, what I do is I put all of my unused, brand new, or very little used eyeshadows into an app called Decide Now. I spin the wheel and the wheel decides what eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using for that month. And I try to use every shade in the palette. I try to create at least 5 looks with the palette and just, develop more knowledge about that particular palette, the formula. And I come back here and I give you my review. I'm going to show you the looks that I created and let you know what I think about it. So this last round I used the Oden's Eye Cosmetics Alva palette. This palette is very pretty. The packaging is gorgeous. Let me see if I can get that to show for you. It is overcast and rainy and sporadic thunderstorms today, so that's why we are in my cave here, but hopefully you'll be able to see these colors true. That's why we are here. So let's see the palette, shall we? It is a very beautiful palette with a lot of these pinky toned mauve colors, some warm neutrals, and a whole lot of texture. So who is this palette for? This palette is for someone who likes these neutral colors, likes to use a little bit of yellow, have a little bit of that 2021 yellow pop in their collection, and likes to play with new textures. I found that this palette for me was a little more neutral than I prefer. I already have a neutral palette and I already have my chosen neutrals in my collection that I reach for and probably would reach for over this, but it's still not a bad palette. I feel like I was able to create some really pretty looks with it, and even though I was getting a little bit bored by the end, I still was able to create some looks that I didn't not like. So I'm going to go ahead and I will tell you what I used, and I'll insert these clips here to show you. And I have to admit that while I was looking back through my camera roll, I was like, I can't remember, was this? I was trying to match what was in my camera roll with the notes that I had taken. So hopefully I've got these all right. In the introduction video for this, the last Eyeshadows of Shame Part 2, I did an all yellow eye look. I used Daisy, Sunflower, and Golden Tulipa, and I really thought that that was such a very pretty, bright, youthful, energetic, just happy look. I was really happy with that look, and it made me excited to get into the palette. So I don't know if it was a good or bad thing that I started with that, but it is what it is, and I enjoyed it. You can go back and you can watch that episode if you'd like to. But for the first look that I did off camera, I went ahead and I jumped right in with those bright, beautiful pink and mauve colors. I used the shades Lotus, Peony, Dahlia, and Lilac for this look, and I added a lot of fake freckles, and it was beautiful and pink and soft, and I really enjoyed this look. For the second look that I did, I used Morning Glory, Carnation, and Jasmine. This one was more of a simple look. I did a focus on a winged eyeliner shape here, but it was really bright and still fun and yet soft and feminine, and I really enjoyed this look as well. By the next look, I believe this was the only look that I used Cherry Blossom and Jasmine. I really loved that Cherry Blossom shade. I thought that it was really rich and intense, and on its own it blended out beautifully for a really easy yet impactful, nice look. And I think those are the only 2 shades that I used because I didn't take very good notes that day, but I know that I used Cherry Blossom for this one. The next look that I did, I used Lotus, Morning Glory, Jasmine, and Dandelion. By this time, I was a little bit done with neutrals and just kind of, it was nice and it's a very pretty look that I created, but that's about it. I started to fall out of love with the palette when I was doing some of these more neutral shades, more neutral looks. And the last look I did featured the deep brown shades. Well, I wouldn't say they're deep brown, but in this palette, the deeper brown shades. I used Coffee Bean, Cosmos, and Baby's Breath for this look, and I used a little bit of brown eyeliner to just kind of smudge it out and bring that depth down just a little bit more. That is something I did find with this palette. It is lacking a little bit of true depth, so it's definitely more for lighter, more neutral, pinky and more golden, warm, neutral looks. Overall, I do think this is a really lovely palette. However, because there are so many different textures in this palette, it does require a little bit of patience and there is a bit of a learning curve. For example, Golden Tulipa, Dandelion, and Lilac feel very flaky. And what that means is when I go to pick them up with a brush, they don't want to come off onto the brush in normal way like normal eyeshadows do. They do have a little bit of this flaky texture, and that's the best way I could describe it. If you can see, it looks like there are flakes of eyeshadow rather than just powder. And what that means is if you go to put it on, it's not going to swipe on the same way a normal eyeshadow would. It comes off a little bit sheerer and you don't see as much of that intense purple like you do in the pan. However, if you were to put this over top of a glitter glue and use your fingertip to pack the shade on, you will get more of that really pretty color. But you could also use this as a topper shade over another color, and you could also use this for a sheer wash of really pretty color and sparkle. So there are a lot of different ways that you could use that shadow. The mattes in here are all brilliant and beautiful. I have no complaints about any of those. They all went on beautifully, very impactful with color. It's just those lighter flaky shades. These metallics, Cherry Blossom, Coffee Bean, and Cosmos especially, are very pretty, very intense. And I love especially Cherry Blossom. It has that red with that orangey undertone that is just beautiful. So overall, I think that if this is your color story and you're interested in trying some different textures of eyeshadows, I think you would really like this. I enjoyed the color story overall. I really enjoyed playing with some of these different textures, but trying to keep this and use this on its own was not a whole lot of fun for me. I do like to, again, play more with color, and I would definitely bring in some different palettes to pair with this. But using it on its own is not for me, but that's okay. I look forward to having this in my collection and using especially some more of those shades like Lilac that's so pretty with other looks. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to pull up my Decide Now app. Right, here we go. We have our Shadows of Shame ready to roll. And let me pull that into focus for you. Did I already take that off of there? I should have taken that off of there. Yes, I already took it off of there. So once I spin this wheel, I will take this shadow off, the palette off of my wheel, and then next month it will not be there as an option to choose from. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Oh my, I did this last time too. I think my screen's got a little bit of fingerprints on it from the thumb. So let's go ahead and I can either tap it here and it will spin, or I can just spin it like that. Oh, okay. I thought we were going to have Snow White, but we're going to have Arcana. So let me go ahead and grab Arcana and we will do a look and get started on this next project. I'm back with Arcana and this is what it looks like. This one is by Shroud Cosmetics, and I'm not sure if or when their shop is reopening, but I'm also not sure if this is even available anymore, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. It looks like that on the front. This is what the back looks like. It says cruelty-free, never looked so good. They are cruelty-free and vegan, and yeah, so outside of the package, beautiful little packaging, and on the inside I still have my little plastic sheet, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And can I bend this all the way back because I don't want to hold it upside down? All right, and this is what it looks like on the inside. It is 6 mattes and 6, no, let me count properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 mattes and 6 shimmers. So it's a half matte, half shimmer palette, and it is really pretty. You can see they're already kind of paired for you. Like you can, well, sort of. These two are a little bit backwards, but you can kind of do some really simple matte and shimmer looks with it. It's already laid out really nicely for you, but that's not who I am. So we're gonna do something green and blue today because, again, it's overcast outside, off and on thunderstorms. I'm really feeling that really smoky, earthy, rainy day look. So I'm gonna grab my eyeshadow primer potion, and I might have to switch to voiceover if people start getting loud in my house. So just a little bit of a heads up on that. Hand mirror, and let's get started. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for eyeliner, but I think I'm going to pull in some of my, either my Urban Decay or my NYX. Those are my favorite eyeliners right now. And I don't love the doe foot applicator on this primer potion. I really miss the squeezy tube, but this is what I have right now. So this is what we're gonna work with. I can't decide if I want to put green or blue on top. So I think let's do blue upper, green lower. I think that's what we'll do. I'm going to dip into Shroud, and I know that I have used this palette once before at least, but again, it's been so long, I don't remember. So I'm just going to dip into Shroud. I don't remember what this formula is like, so this is going to be brand new. So it feels like the pan is a little bit harder pressed, but that's okay. I can work with that. Let's see how it goes on. Which I'm gonna do. So I had planned to take my kids back to the pool this weekend after having been sick the week the pool opened and only having time to go once this last week. But we got everybody ready and sprayed myself head to toe with SPF, and I heard thunder in the distance. And so I knew it wouldn't be long before the rain, and sure enough, as soon as I got back inside, the rain poured, and it was just a mess. So we're gonna try again tomorrow and hope it doesn't rain us out again tomorrow. This is blending really nicely. I feel like it's spreading out pretty evenly, and I just went back in for a little bit more for some depth, and it feels like it's layering nicely. Now I'm going to dip into Mystic, and I'm taking a flat brush and I'm just going to put that on my eyelid here. I decided to use the shade Indigo by Makeup Geek for my eyeliner today, and I'm just grabbing that same C-shaped brush that I used for Mystic on my lids, and I'm dipping into the green, that beautiful emerald green Alchemy for my lower lash line. I'm using just a little bit on the bottom to kind of bring it up and around into that outer corner there to create that outer V shape, and bring it up and in and around to blend that beautiful emerald green with that deep sapphire blue. Next, I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette and dip into that shade Rush Hour to give a little bit of brightness to the inner corner. I just love that silver with those sparkles, and I think that those would pair beautifully with that green and that blue and kind of give a little bit of a hint of that stormy, rainy cloud sparkle. This is the finished look. I'm really happy with how this turned out today. Going closer, I have the tiniest bit of a wing. I have my Benefit Roller Lash Mascara on, and I'm really glad I decided to pull in Rush Hour from my Lost in Los Angeles palette to really brighten this up, since there are no really bright colors in this palette. It's all very grungy and earthy, and I really like it. It's not a color story that I would normally gravitate toward for June and July, but there are some really intense colors here that I think are going to be beautiful. Like this blue is gorgeous. I can't wait to play with this beautiful emerald green on its own. I think that Enchantress is going to be a really nice bright color. If I want to do something a little more neutral, which I will, I definitely see here that Sacred and Familiar are those kind of mauve toned colors that I am drawn toward when reaching for my neutrals. Relic is going to be very pretty. Ultra is going to be pretty. I think Nocturnal would be one of those colors that would be really lovely just on its own all over the lid with a little bit of eyeliner and mascara. I'm looking forward to playing with this. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for me after having tried to really dig into my brain and grab some new ideas for that very neutral palette that I just came from. But that's the whole point of this project. It's to make you think and try to do some things that are a little outside your comfort zone or a little outside your norm to get creative and get moving. So I think I'll have a little bit of an easier time creating looks with this than I did with my Alva palette. Maybe I'll even bring in Alva with this, because I really do think that, let me grab that. Where did I put it? I think that this one actually would pair really nicely with this, because there are some really bright, fun textures in this palette that I think would look really nice with this one. I mean, look at that. These look like they would coordinate nicely. So maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll keep this out a little bit longer to kind of buddy up with this one if I want to do something a little bit brighter, or, you know, I think that could be fun. Let's do that. So for my lipstick today, I have the Bare Minerals matte liquid lipstick in the shade Juju. This is more of a comfort matte formula because I did just declutter a whole bunch of my very old matte liquid lipsticks, the real drying kind, but this one is more of a comfort matte formula akin to the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, so it's super comfortable for me. And if you want to watch that declutter, I'll leave that up there for you too. It's the last video that I did. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this look. It is very intense. I think once I put my glasses on over top of it, it'll be a little bit easier. And my eye shape definitely, you can see, is a little bit different. Anyway, I enjoy it. I think it's super fun. And it definitely matches my theme for today with the smoky clouds and the stormy weather in the bright, lush greenery of the summertime. I like it. Very imaginative. Anyway, I want to know what you think down below. Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what you think about this situation here. I was going to set up my background, but I feel like I get better color this way with the lights, and everything is a little more true to color, but let me know what you think. I'd be open to hearing about that too. Also, if you'd like to continue on with the Eyeshadows of Shame journey, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at tiffany.hamblin. So that's it for me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Thank you so much for spending some of your valuable time with me today. It means so much to me. And until next time, take care.